Dooley, Dooley. How do I plan a collection? If y'all stop at, you guys gotta stop with this question, bro. Literally, I think I've answered this. I don't know. It's definitely more than my body count. Which it's not that hard to beat because my body count's 0. Anyways, I've gotten this question so many times. I've answered it literally so many times in my inner circle program, which is a little bit different because that's like private. But even then, like even in my inner circle program, I get this question a lot. I get this question a lot on TikTok, which I've answered this with like 30 times, 30 million videos. But I'm going to make a video on this and never going to make a video on this ever again because this is the most annoying question that I get the most. How do you plan a collection? How do you make a collection? What inspires you to make a collection? How do you drop a collection? Everything collection. Okay. I don't understand this. I think this is pretty common sense, but I understand most of you guys are first starting out, okay? And I never had somebody like this to teach me, which it's kind of unfair, but I guess in return, you will give me a bunch of views, a bunch of fame, and a bunch of money. Actually, I'm kidding. I don't get any AdSense because I cuss too much. Now, let's just get started. Number 1, how do you plan a collection? You need to have samples, okay? You need to have samples in place. By the way, when I say collection, it needs to be more than 4 or 5 products. If it's like 2 products, 1 product, that's not a collection. That's a product, okay? So I'm guessing that you guys want to drop like 5 plus pieces. Personally, for me, I try to aim for 8. There isn't it doesn't matter, right? You can drop like 7, 10, 12, 15, 20, but in my personal opinion, it needs to be more than 5 or like 5 plus. So the first thing you want to do is you want to find a theme. Now, there are 2 types of people. The first type is they find a theme, like a look, they want to go for a specific collection, and then they make samples. There's type 2, which not diabetes. These are people that just make a bunch of samples, depending on how they feel. Just, because they're such a creative person. They just make a bunch of samples, and from the samples they make, whatever they think will go well together, they just put it together. So you may ask, what type of person are you, Dooley? Well, I'm type 2, okay? I'm the type of person that makes a bunch of designs, a bunch of products, and then after that, towards the end, like once everything comes in, like 50% are just eliminated because the sample turns out bad. But from the 50% that are good, I choose which ones I just want to compile together that looks good together in a collection, and then boom, I drop it like that. Now, I will say there are times where I do think of a specific theme, right? So for example, right now, collection 6, so I'm in my collection 6, but for collection 7, when I was making it, I had a theme. It was like a theme of religion, right? So every design that I made had a little bit of a religion theme. Obviously, I'm not like a Christian clothing brand. I'm not like a religious brand. So I didn't want to incorporate too much because it's just one collection that I'm making. But for that specific collection, I made products catered towards that theme, and I designed catered towards that theme as well. But I guess the main difference is that instead of having 8 products, I made like 15, okay? So I made like 15 samples. And from the 15, I chose like 8, okay? Obviously, I'm not even done with that collection yet. It's still in the working in progress. But I have like 5, I think, products that are like set in stone that I'm going to drop for sure. And when I was designing these pieces, it was in mind of the theme, but I made so much to the point where like towards the end, when I was actually just choosing which one I want to use, I did the second part, which is like I just choose what samples I think will go well together. And then for the rest of the ones that I didn't do, I'm going to drop later down the line for my next collection. Now, does this matter? Okay? All this theme, all this meaning, all this, this collection's about this. It's about how I, woke up and like I came from the trenches and I worked my ass off, and it represents glory. Like, nobody gives a fuck. Okay, I'm sorry, nobody cares. Even for me, right? I think obviously my brand isn't anything crazy, right? But from my perspective, having a theme is cool. It's cool, right? Having a meaning is cool for that collection. Having specific products that go well together for that collection is cool. But do people really care about that? Like the meaning and the theme? No, they don't. They really don't. And people might disagree with this, which I don't care. It's my video. But if you disagree with this, that's pretty much saying girls don't care about Instagram. That's the same exact thing you're saying, right? Because some girls might not care about it, but majority do. So same exact thing. Some people might care about your collection theme, collection meaning, whatever the case. I have all that, bro. Like if you go to every single collection I have for flower, every single collection I drop is a flower's name. Okay, so for example, Snapdragon, Magnolia, whatever. Like collection 1 was Magnolia, Snapdragon. And for that collection, like the meaning of the flower represents the collection, right? I do all that. But as somebody that does all that, I'm telling you right now, nobody gives a shit, okay, if your products are trash. So if you do all this theme, all this shit, like have all this meaning, and then you drop a collection and your products are just trash, nobody cares about that, bro. Nobody cares about your theme. Nobody cares about your collection meaning because your products are trash. So I would say you should definitely do it, but this should not be your priority. So like maybe if you don't have like the perfect theme, perfect concept for your collection, like you're just stressing so much, I'm telling you right now, it's not that deep, especially if you have 100 followers, which most of you guys do. So you guys need to chill out. Nobody cares if you put a typo in any of your posts because you have 100 followers. Okay. And from the 100 followers, maybe 10 will actually even like your post. And from the 10, they're just liking it out of pity. They don't care about your brand. So I would say for the most part, most of you guys should not really emphasize it too much. Obviously, the bigger your brand gets. So like if I hit 100K, like I'm being very cautious. I'm being very aware and very just like, I guess just trying to put everything together in a very meaningful way, because by that point I have a bunch of customers, I have a bunch of eyes on me, and I still do this. Like I'm not okay, actually, why did I just say that? I act like I don't care about like I do. Obviously, I care about my collection. I have a theme. I always do. But as somebody that has that and does that, like I'm telling you right now, especially if you don't have that many followers and you don't get any sales, like it's not that deep. So I'm gonna assume people that are watching this video has a lot of followers, okay? You hit 6 figures, so you're a decent brand now. So boom, what do you do then? So what do I do now? What you do now is I personally would say you need a plan like 2-3 collections ahead. It depends on how frequently you drop and how many products you drop. So for example, for me, I drop, I would say 8 products per collection, but you know, me dropping 8 products, brand new products, pre-made without any marketing every single month is crazy work to me, because that is very hard to do, okay? Because you have to understand, guys, I have 8 products in a collection, right? But before the 8 products, that 8 products was like 24 designs, okay? 24 individual designs that I've made. From the 24, I would say maybe like 15 of them I actually make like a sample with my manufacturer. From the 15, only 8 of them will turn out good. And from the 8 that turn out good, there's always going to be a mistake. That's what always happens. Even for this collection that I'm dropping, I have 8 products, right? First one is a camo zip up. That one I ordered 4 months ago, the first sample, but it was too cropped. Okay, I told them to fix it. They fixed it, and you know, unfortunately, the holiday thing happened. And by that point, you know, it's been like 3 months, and then I finally got it, and there were a couple pieces that were literally messed up. Like the distressing was weird. They messed up the products. I think they messed up like 15 of them. So they had to remake those. They sent that back to me. My school zip up, okay? That one, when I first got the sample, also too cropped. Told them to fix it. Bought the bulk order. Took like a month and a half. Bulk order was done. And finally, he took a picture of it. It was too long. So the length of the zip up was too long, and the manufacturer messed up. So he took another month for it to make it. It took another 2 weeks for it to arrive. And by that point, it's been 3 months. Okay. So, and I don't know, like the skull shirt that I have, manufacturer also messed up the first sample, had to remake it. Like every single product pretty much, except for, let's see, one of them. So 7 products out of the 8 had some issue where the manufacturer had to remake it, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with this, but the problem is it takes too much time. So literally, I'm being dead ass serious, guys. I have 8 products in this new collection, and 7 of them were messed up in the first sample, and a lot of them just had so many remakes for no reason because the manufacturer doesn't understand English. So the point I'm trying to make is you have 8 products, right? So like within the 15 samples, you choose 8, let's just say the best ones, and you start those for production. There's going to be mistakes. I don't care what you say. There's always going to be mistakes. Sometimes you might be lucky, and it might just not be anything crazy, but there's always going to be something that just pushes it back even more, which is the reason why I say it's harder to plan and harder to drop frequently. And the only way that you can drop frequently with high quality products without any mistakes is just by increasing the volume. So instead of 15 samples, if I had 50 samples that I could choose from, that means I can choose the ones that I want for this collection, choose the ones that I want for my next collection, choose the one I want for my next collection, and have all of them in production at once. What's the problem here, you might ask? It's probably gonna cost like 100 racks for you to do that pre-made, because you should do pre-made by this point. And that's the problem, capital, right? You just don't have enough money. It's also very risky because you have a bunch of products that you're in production with that you don't even know if you can sell. So you're pretty much placing a bet on literally just red. You're putting 100K on red, literally. That's what you're doing. Now, obviously that's a little bit exaggerated because there are business fundamentals. There are customers that have bought from you that are probably going to buy from you again. But realistically speaking, there is a lot of risk. That's the point I'm trying to make. How do you do this without spending a lot of capital, without, being lazy, while dropping frequently? Well, the only answer to this is don't drop a fucking collection. Just drop a couple products per month. So this is something that I did for my brand in the beginning, is I just drop one product per month. And obviously, as time goes on, I increase it to 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I drop 8. I'm sure as time goes on, I'll drop more. But there's a reason why a lot of these brands take forever to drop new collections, is because it takes so much work, quality check, manufacturing issues. You have to make that design, come up with the ideas too. And all of that takes a very long time. So the fact that you're going to get a new drop from a new clothing brand that has 8+ products per collection, I find it very difficult, unless they're a very big team, which, by that point it's a different story because you're hiring other people. So what is the moral of the story? Okay. Moral of the story is this is common sense. This is common sense. If you're first starting out, don't drop that many products. If you aren't, plan ahead, even if it takes up a lot of capital. I think I spent, give me a second, I'll check Chase right now. I spent a lot of money this month and last month, I believe, on a bunch of samples, a bunch of products. And give me a second, guys. I'm almost there. I'm guessing 30K, which probably more than that. Let me see. So spending summary. Oh, oh shit. Okay. Yeah, 51K this month. Guess what? I even pay off half the credit card, so I'm guessing 60K. Last month, oh, wow, 46K. This is one of my accounts, by the way. This is my clothing brand account, so I'm not including my personal expenses. April was a little bit better, 38K. Okay, I think I need to chill out now, but I guess half the money that I spent here was on, actually, no. It is 60K because I have a 7.8K credit card payment for my brand credit card. And I have a 3.2K credit card bill for my Ink Unlimited, which is the same thing. So That would be like 60K. And let me check my Amex because I also pay my Amex card with this one. 60K. Oh shit, $14,000. I'm trying to show you guys without. Yep, that is my bill, and I'm just gonna make the payment right now because why not? So let me do the math. What is that like? Like 70K, 75K? So I spent 75K this month, and most of it was on my bulk order for my future collections, and obviously a bunch of samples. So samples are very expensive, obviously, and just in general, boys, like this is what happens. So if you don't have the capital to do this, and if you don't want to spend this much money, then I would say don't do it. Don't drop that many products. Drop way less until you make more money. And then obviously at that point, you can drop more. That's it, boys.